Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. We're glad to have you here with this show. You know, there's been a lot of work taking place behind the scenes regarding the upcoming fall class schedule and the types of classes taking place in the fall. And that's why we're here today. We're here to answer your questions and clear up any confusion going into this fall. We're joined today by Dr. Kurt Ewen, Vice Chancellor of Strategy Planning and Institutional Effectiveness. Thanks for being here.
Morning, Todd.
And we're also joined by Dr. Shantay Grays, Vice Chancellor of Student Services. Thank you for being here, Dr. Grays.
Good morning, Todd. Thank you for having me.
Now, before we get started, I want to let everyone know, if you look on your screen, there is a new website we've established to lay out all the guidelines here, in addition to the questions we're going to answer for you today. That new website is hccs.edu/collegeyourway. You can go to that website anytime. You can watch a short video and also get your questions answered by the information on that website. Let's get started with the show today to start asking your questions and some of the things we want to get forward to clear up any confusion about the fall. First, I'm going to start with Dr. Ewen. What are the different next learning options?
Well, thank you, Todd. And again, thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk to you today. I want to set some context really quickly, and that is to say that although things seem to be improving, we're not sure what the fall is going to look like. There's talk of potentially the cases growing in Houston right now, and we want to make sure that when the fall gets here, our students aren't as impacted by this pandemic as they were in the spring. We all know that was really difficult for everybody, and we want to make sure that they have the greatest potential and opportunity to be successful. So we've identified 4 ways that students can register for fall classes. Lab-based courses are going to be very similar to what students have always experienced in a lab-based course. It's hands-on with PPE that's required, right? A face mask, all of that kind of thing. Socially distanced, there'll be screens, plexiglass screens that will keep people protected from one another. But we have made sure that all of those sections have a reduced number of students as the maximum capacity that can register for that unit. Then we have online anytime. Online anytime is our name for a traditional online class. A traditional online class is I'm an early riser. I get in, I do my work at 4 a.m. before I go to work. Somebody else works late, and they do their stuff in the evening. Online on a schedule is fully remote. You never come to campus, but you register for a class at a particular day and time of the week, so that if it's Tuesday at 10 a.m. and that's time for algebra, you log on and that's what's there. That professor will be there and the other class members will be there with you. And then finally is Flex Campus. Flex Campus for most of the students will look very much like online on a schedule, but there will be an option for students to come to class if they need that to connect with their professor and to help them better understand what's going on. And we're working on a way in which students can enter into that classroom setting, and there'll be a whole lot more details coming soon. Now, if you've already registered, you won't recognize these 4 names. And so we've made some adjustments, and as of Tuesday morning, everybody will have the opportunity to come in and register. But if you have registered, there's a chance that your schedule may have been adjusted. Isn't that right, Shantay?
That's right, Kurt, and thank you. I want students to be aware that we are, as Dr. Ewen suggested, your safety and your well-being is our most grave concern. We are recognizing that this COVID situation continues to evolve, and as such, we had to make adjustments in the fall schedule to ensure that we are first and foremost following the guidelines from the CDC, but also we will be able to ensuring that we'll be able to execute our own institutional protocols. So that required us to make some adjustments in the schedule to number one, make sure we're protecting the safety of the students, but we're trying to, as minimally as possible, disrupt the service that you've come to expect from HCC. So students, many of you may have had notifications about your course cancellations between last Wednesday and Friday. We are working very quickly to get the scheduling options up and available to you. And as Dr. Ewen suggested, most of you will not have as many impacts, but we do know that some of you are concerned. We do know that there are a couple of hundred students who may have had their entire fall schedule disrupted. I'm encouraging you to contact the Student Services Contact Center. I'll have more information about that. And we're going to have our team of individuals, our advisors, and our contact center staff available to assist you and walk you through the re-registration process.
And Dr. Grays and Dr. Ewen, I know you went through a number of items in just the last few minutes. We're going to take a short break and we're going to look at this video. Take a look at this video because it'll explain the learning options and answer some more questions of the fall. When we return, we'll have some more questions from you and also ones we gathered from social media. Take a look at this.
There's a lot of uncertainty and questions about what returning to classes will look like for fall. Things are still evolving, but we are working on a plan. A plan that is flexible, safe, effective to help you achieve your educational goals. While we don't have all the answers quite yet, we want to let you know what we're thinking and working to put into place. We call it Next Learning, flexible, safe ways to learn. Option 1, online anytime. Take classes online at any time. These are the traditional online classes you're used to and you never come to campus. Option 2, online on a schedule. Take classes online at a scheduled time. You still never come to campus, but you log into your class online at the specified time you selected. Option 3, Flex Campus. Sign up for in-person classes. You have the choice to come to campus or participate online at the set class time. Option 4, lab-based courses. The same critical hands-on, skills-based learning, but by making our section sizes smaller to allow for social distancing. Regardless of the way your class is taken, all students have access to the same support. Tutoring, student life, basic needs support, career and pathway advising, career and employment services, counseling and ability services, and supplemental instruction, just to name a few. So what's next? We are adjusting the fall schedule based on these different options. We need a little bit of time to get it right, but here's a general idea of what to expect. Classes currently listed as face-to-face or hybrid will be adjusted to Flex Campus and online on a schedule options. Classes currently listed as online in the fall schedule will not change. They will be delivered online as the online anytime option. Labs currently listed on the schedule also will not change, but the size of each lab will be smaller and we will look to add more lab options to the schedule. Even though adjustments are being made to the fall schedule, this doesn't mean you have to wait to enroll. Registration is open and you can lock your classes in today. As changes are made, we will share those updates with you so you're in the loop based on the latest information. Remember, your safety is our priority, and so are your educational goals. We know things have been tough, but we're going to make it through this difficult time because we are your college and we are HCC strong. Stay tuned for more updates over the coming weeks. Until then, stay connected and remember, we're here for you.
Well, welcome back. I hope that video cleared up some of your questions. If not, stay tuned throughout this special report of Up to the Minute because we've got more with Dr. Grays and Dr. Ewen answering your questions from social media during this show and all the things you need to know as you register for classes in the fall. Dr. Ewen, is HCC offering traditional face-to-face classes for this upcoming fall?
Well, Todd, that's not necessarily as straightforward a question as you might think. If you're asking are we having traditional face-to-face classes, no, there won't be classes where you can come in with 30 or so other students, but there will be opportunities for students to be in a classroom with their faculty member in a face-to-face setting, working within social distancing guidelines and the max capacity within the room at the time. So that would be for our lab-based options, which I mentioned before. Lab-based options, the cap size has been dropped, no more than 9 students and the 1 faculty member at most. And then in the Flex Campus classes, there'll be the opportunity for the student, for some students to be in the classroom and the rest will be remote.
In the lecture-based courses, can we go over that more again?
Sure. So the lecture-based courses, we're calling those Flex Campus, right? So imagine that, and here's why we did this. Some people say, why don't you just do everything remotely? It works. That there are a couple of reasons why not. One is that we know some of these courses that we have are particularly challenging for our students. We have lots of data on that, and we want to give the students who respond better with the ability to connect with their faculty member the opportunity to do so. Students in community colleges are about 10% less likely to be successful in an online class than they would in a traditional face-to-face class. So giving a student the opportunity at some moments during the course of the semester to get in with their faculty member, we think is really important. So if you're taking a Flex Campus course, you go into the schedule, you're going to pick a class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. at West Loop. That's the time of your class. And let's say there are 27 students in that class. The most that on any given day that will be able to be in the classroom with the faculty member is 9, right? We're developing a process by which those students would know that they get to come in, right? So we can split the class into 3. The first third is on Monday, the second third is on Wednesday, the last third is on Friday. And then you can tell us that you're coming, and let's say I'm normally coming on Fridays, and I know that there's an open spot available on Monday. I can put my name in to get that. And then we're working on a system where you would get a ticket then of some sort, or a code, a QR code that would allow you to scan into the screening location when you come into campus. Everybody else in that class will be remote. Everybody else will be at the same time with their instructor in a remote setting. The instructor and those 9 students will be in the classroom. Everybody else will be at home, in the library, somewhere else engaging in that class.
And that would be considered online on a schedule? Is that how that will work?
No, what I just described is the Flex Campus, because some students will be in a classroom, other students will not. Online on a schedule has the faculty member remote. The faculty member probably will not be at an HCC location. They could likely be at home. They won't be in a classroom. And they will log in at that time, just like the students do. The benefit to online on a schedule, as opposed to a traditional online class, is that it gives the student the opportunity to have a regular formatted time, right? Well, if it's 10 a.m. on Tuesday, that means I have to get to my science class, right? That kind of routine is really important for students, especially those who've not taken many online classes, because online classes require a tremendous amount of discipline around your schedule, and it's easy to put it off, where you have online on a schedule and you know that 2 days a week I have that science class on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 in the morning.
So maybe you could go over why a student may pick online on a schedule over online anytime. Is it because they like to keep a schedule? I know a number of students I've talked to enjoy the online anytime because they can work during the day and take their classes late at night, early in the morning, and it's more convenient for them.
Yes, and this is where the student has to know a little bit about themselves, and to be candid, they have to be honest with themselves. If they've taken traditional online classes and they haven't done well because it got ahead of them, the course, or they got behind in the course, then this might be the good option for them, and it gives them the opportunity to say, to do this successfully, I need to be in class those times, and I just do it remotely at a designated time. It also gives the student the opportunity for regular contact with their faculty member, even though that contact is remote. The faculty member can still see them, they can still answer their questions. And I've taught online before, and having a real clear sense as to which students are having a difficult time and which are not can be really beneficial to both the student and the faculty member.
You've been able to explain the Flex Campus, but I want to ask about how students can know when they can attend in person versus online. How will they know this ahead of time?
So they won't know it when they register. So what they should assume is that when they register for a Flex Campus, they are committing to being in class, either in the classroom or virtually in an online setting, at the time that they've signed up for. That is the way they should think about it. As we get closer and the course is full, and let's say we know that, well, in this course there's not 27, there's 15 students. Well, that changes how many can get into the classroom, right? The other thing is that, let's say by September, the social distancing guidelines change, and we could have 15 students in a room. Well, the number of students that we could allow in at any given time could go up. It could also be that there's an exposure or someone who comes onto campus that has COVID, and that campus has to be shut down for a couple of days for cleaning. Well, then all of those students just revert into this synchronous online on a schedule mode, right? And then when the campus is cleaned, those 9 students, or whichever ones are designated, get to come back in. They will have the opportunity then to say, no one ever has to come in, but you'll be given the opportunity to come in, right? So if on that Tuesday, you think, if for that particular class you say, I'm doing okay, I don't really need to come in, I'm going to give my seat to somebody else, that's completely fine. But if you say, I'm struggling here and I think I want to get in, then that's the time to accept that opportunity. Students should not enter into this with the expectation that they will be in the classroom every day the class meets. That's not realistic at this time. This is an option to help them be successful to our best ability.
You are watching a very special edition of Up to the Minute. We are talking about the fall semester and the different options for learning that we're presenting to you. Dr. Ewen, and I've got Dr. Kurt Ewen on the show, Vice Chancellor of Strategy, Planning, and Institutional Effectiveness. Also, Dr. Shantay Grays, who's our Vice Chancellor of Student Services. We're answering your questions because I know there are a lot going into this fall. We understand there's some confusion, so that's why we're here to let you know that we are here to support you and to answer those questions. Dr. Grays, Dr. Ewen mentioned something at the top of the show, and it's real important to let our students know things are changing almost daily. Once again, we've got a number of hospitalizations that are rising in the Harris County and Houston area. I guess we want to get across to students that we understand this, and the way you guys have worked with this behind the scenes is to make changes as needed to the schedule or to class options because of this next learning class option.
That's right, Kurt. Pardon me, Todd. It's so important that our students recognize that it is not our intention to be disruptive, but we certainly have to keep our eyes on what's going on in today's society, even in the county. And for that reason, these types of changes, although the timing is not the best for many of our students, it is certainly necessary. We know that the online option is a concern for many of our international students. At this time, we still are awaiting clearance from the Department of Homeland Security to be able to give students more options. So what I would say to our students who are international students concerned about their status is take advantage of the Flex Campus option now. And we'll try to enroll in as many of those courses as available, but understand also that should the circumstances change, the institution will still follow the guidance of DHS, and we're hopeful and certainly expect that there would be some provisions to allow international students to remain in an online learning environment should the situation with COVID-19 continue to escalate. So online learning is still very realistic, and it's still a very real possibility for all higher ed institutions. HCC is no exception to that, but we want to assure our students that we will do everything possible to, number one, protect their safety and well-being, and then number two, to ensure that they have the range of academic options that best suit their needs, be it international students, be it our financial aid students, what we know also may have some concerns. We're going to work very closely with the administration and the leaders of that department to do all we can to ensure our students have a great and safe fall semester.
We want to mention too, you'll see a website on the side of your screen. It's hccs.edu/collegeyourway. And this website has just been established. Please feel free to visit the website. You can view a video that explains all the options. You can also browse through the website to make sure you get your questions answered. You can also comment below this post here, and we will answer your question for you. Dr. Ewen, you mentioned something at the top of the show. Maybe we can revisit this because we do get this question in social media. Students are asking, the schedule had been taken down. If I'd already registered for classes, do I need to register again?
The answer is possibly. If your course has been changed, so here's a couple of things. If your sections have been changed and they were canceled, you will have received a notification indicating that, and you'll need to go in and re-enroll for fall. The other thing is that it may be possible that not knowing what we were planning in terms of the safety precautions that these four modes create, you may say, you know, I'd really like to get into an online on a schedule and not just the fully online. If that's for you, then you might want to make an adjustment to your schedule. And if you're taking a course that you're really nervous about, and having the opportunity to get in front of the instructor may also be something that you want to look at, then you might want to adjust to a flex campus for some of them. All of these are options for you, but students should really take this seriously. Figure out what's going to work best for them, for their time, their life, and their learning needs. And then if they're having questions still, reach out to somebody. There's lots of people here who are happy to help and explain this until you understand what's going on. I realize it's challenging. It's very different. We've given everything a different name, intentionally so that you're not walking in thinking, oh, I know what that one is. We want you to understand that these are different learning options, and they have impact on how well you learn in a class.
And Dr. Grays, I know you guys established in the beginning a virtual online lobby, and I know that's been very popular. If a student has a question, they can always go to that lobby and ask the question. It may take a little while, but your team reaches out back to them. Absolutely,
and we tried, knowing that fall registration is a top priority for many of our students right now. Securing those classes that they want. We are asking students to give us about 24 to 48 hours. We have staff across the district who's trying to respond as quickly as possible to concerns. But we are encouraging our students to take advantage of that virtual lobby, make the appointments with their advisors to have any address any concerns they may have or questions around the schedule itself. Another point I want to make, and I want to emphasize to our students, is as we know that the spring, for those who are continuing or returning students, the spring posed a lot of challenges and a lot of concern about this environment for which they had not originally signed up or planned. But there are several options that are available for students in terms of having some supplemental learning support. Tutoring, right? We are encouraging students to take advantage of the tutoring services, online tutoring, because we know that those types of support systems also help. They're equally as important as the face-to-face instruction. So we're encouraging students. You'll hear more about the work that we're doing with our tutoring services and our online tutoring programs coming shortly. I also think that students need to understand there are some courses by which we have what's known as supplemental instructors. These are peer instructors, students who are paired in courses where there's been traditionally some challenges for most students, like math. If you're not aware of those supplemental instruction services that are available, we're going to do all we can to share that type of information as well, because students need to know that sometimes learning takes place outside of the classroom, and HCC has that infrastructure to provide that supplemental support that you will need if you're still feeling uneasy about the online learning environment. Kurt, anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I think that's great, Shantay, to continue to remind students. The only thing I would want to say is that every now and then we'll hear from students that they didn't know about tutoring, or that they didn't know how much it was going to cost them. These are all services that come to you as a student. When you're a student at HCC, these are things that just come with being a student. So take advantage of the opportunities, it can make a real difference in the success you'll see in your class.
It sure can, and we want to stress once again, really all of our services are available virtually right now, from counseling to advising, student services, veteran service, international student services, and tutoring, and more. All of that's available through our website. You can call the office numbers, and you will reach someone. We do have staff ready and available for you, even though we're working in a virtual world. We're hopefully looking to get back to some type of normal in the fall. But, you know, as Dr. Ewen, as you started off the show, and we have to bring it back once again, things change. And I think one thing I've learned over the working virtually the past 3 or 4 months or so is that we have to be flexible. If we're a student, faculty, staff, we all have to be flexible during this.
That's right. And I also want to just say that yesterday I got my hair cut, and I had to wear a mask, and I had to get my temperature taken when I walked in the door, or before I walked in the door. That the same will be true at HCC. If you come to a lab, you will have to have your temperature taken, and you will have questions asked of you about your health and your readiness. And if you don't have a face mask, we're going to give you one. These are just precautions that we have to take to make sure everyone is safe. That is our highest priority. There's going to be a lot of new things coming. They're going to see signs they've never seen before. Hand sanitizers in gallon jugs all over the place. Even to the point of bathrooms being broken up in terms of how many people can be there at a time. Lots of social distancing efforts have been taken to make sure that everyone is safe.
That's right, Nev. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was talking to some staff out at Southwest at the Advanced Manufacturing Center. I know they have some classes going on where students are making up their spring labs.
That's right.
And they were talking about the screening process that goes in. It would probably be a good practice if you're a student and you're doing the Flex campus to maybe show up earlier than you normally would so that you could get through these processes. Would that be a fair assumption?
Yes, I think that makes a whole lot of sense. Certainly early on, and while we're doing some of these things for the first time, and the fall will be the first time we'll be doing it for really large populations of students. And it's not just a matter of getting through the screening. If you're in an older building and the hallways are narrow, you can't just walk through the hallways with all sorts of people. There has to be social distancing. That may take a little bit more time. So people should be prepared just to take their time and to be ready to go with whatever shows up.
And if you'd like to see what our campuses are looking like, you can check our social media over the next few weeks. We'll be giving you some glimpses of the social media and distancing and social distancing and the precautions that are taking place on the campuses to give you an idea of what you can expect in the fall. So be looking through all of our social media for special videos on that starting in the next few weeks. Dr. Grays and Dr. Ewen, thank you both for being here. Do you have anything you'd like to add before we wrap up this special edition of Up to the Minute?
Shantay?
Well, Todd, I thank you again, and I'll have to give kudos to Dr. Ewen and to our instructional leaders who put a lot of thought and time into planning this schedule. We do know it's not easy, and it's even more difficult to explain some changes that our students have had to experience as a result of this. But please know, again, that this is out of the extreme precautionary measures that we want to put in place to ensure that we are indeed protecting the well-being and safety of our students, our faculty and staff. So we are expecting there may be a few hiccups in the road. We ask that you be patient with us. We are going to have a team of professionals we're training. As we're sharing this video with our students, we're also having to share it with our staff and some of our faculty to ensure that we all have the same understanding about the range of options that are available. So we are working through this, and we know that we will get through this together, as we always have done in the past.
Absolutely. Dr. Ewen?
I'm just going to say thank you for that, Shantay. I think that was very helpful. We're here to help you. I believe that education is the path to a better life, and we don't want COVID to steal that from anybody. So these are all options that are intended to help everyone learn, and I hope that they take advantage of them.
Thank you both for being here today, and thank you for joining us on Up to the Minute. Once again, if you have any questions, you can always visit hccs.edu/collegeyourway for all the information we talked about during the show, and also a special video that'll explain the learning options. We hope you have a good semester in the fall, and for any information, you'll see it first here on Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. We'll see you next time.